Welcome! This is a short course all on YouTube on how to make your first 1000 bucks from content, and we are already on part 3. Today we're talking about how to build an audience of buyers. One of the biggest problems that you'll face as a creator is that you get a lot of people following you, but most of them aren't really buyers. Hi, I'm Jordan Parker. I'm the guy who creators come to when they want to scale their business, or when they're sick and tired of the algorithm of stealing their hard-earned income. Today we'll talk about finding and building your audience, an audience that you love working with and is filled with buyers who are ready and willing to give you money. First, we'll go over the process with which you're going to understand the audience, aka the market research, and then I'll give you the 3 components of a winning audience that you will want to work with forever, and they will pay you forever. So how do you research audiences? What do you actually do to understand which people you can work with and which people you can't work with? I got tired of all of the super complicated processes that I see online, so I created my own. And my process is actually much simpler. First, you'll find a group of people that fit the audience criteria that we're going to cover in a second. Then you're going to start spending time with them. Your goal there is to do 3 things. 1, capture their attention. They need to see you and remember you before they have any chance of paying you. Next, you want to build trust. Trust is essential. Anyone can buy anything on Amazon and they can learn anything on YouTube, as you're doing right now. But for them to buy and learn from you specifically, they need to trust you. They need to know that you're worth listening to and that whatever you're saying is something that's actually tried and true and not just some random gibberish you read online without even testing it. So after you capture their attention and build a little bit of trust, you go to the last stage, which is having a conversation. You can't really understand people unless you talk to them. And that doesn't necessarily mean you should go on a call with them. It just means you have a conversation with them. Conversations can happen absolutely everywhere. They can happen over 15 GIFs in a comment section, they can happen over DMs, and yes, they can happen in a call as well. What you want to do is to have as many of those conversations as humanly possible, because that's going to teach you more about your audience than anything else. And before we get to the juicy part of what kind of traits do buyers have in common and what you should look for, I need to remind you this. Your business makes money according to how much it helps people, and your business helps people according to how much you understand them. So spending time to understand your audience better is almost universally one of the best investments you can have in your business. And that gets us to the juicy part of the video. What do you actually look for? When you're looking for your audience of buyers, you're going to be looking for 3 things. Number 1 is size. You want to find a targetable audience that is reasonably big. Targetable means you can find them somewhere. That's why I suggest keeping things simple and looking for people that you already have some contact with. Do you have a friend in retail? Is your uncle running an e-commerce store? Is your friend from high school a Twitch streamer? Starting from 1 or several people you already know will make your life so much easier, because they can connect you to so many other people in this market and you don't really need to bang your head against the wall trying to find them. But if you don't have anyone like that, then you can go on social media and look for a group of people who share a common interest with you. If you're not pursuing this interest professionally, this is probably going to take a little bit longer, but it's still a wildly simpler and faster process compared to pretty much any other process that I've seen. The other part of your audience's size is they need to be reasonably big as an audience. You want to be able to target like 1% of them and still make way more money than you ever need. This is actually easier than it sounds, because most audiences for most popular problems are pretty big already and you don't need to worry about it too much. Just make sure you're not targeting something wildly and oddly specific. Blonde girls from San Francisco who really like computers and are into rock climbing is probably way too specific. People in San Francisco who like rock climbing is already pretty good. If you can find 1,000 people in San Francisco from like the million people who live there who are into rock climbing and they all pay you 50 bucks per month, you'll be making a very good income and you really won't be needing anything fancy here. And of course, with the model that I'm teaching you, you can make your first 1,000 bucks with the first 1 or 2 people that you find without worrying about getting to 1,000. Before we get to number 2 in the list of what makes the perfect audience of buyers, I want to invite you to Creator Income. Creator Income is the community of creators I'm building. It is the only place you can learn how to scale your business without relying on an algorithm to do it for you. And also, as a little bonus, you'll get notified for new videos in the course in case I haven't finished it yet. You can join from the link below. So the second component of building an audience of buyers is value. You want to be able to help your audience to give them value in the long run, meaning you can help them improve of their lives over the span of years, not just weeks. And there are two ways you can go about the value part. You can focus on something that you're passionate about. You can find the problem that you really hate or really love and just work on that for years and years and years. Find a way to combine the problems that your audience already has with your purpose, and this is going to provide the fuel to do this for them and to figure out every other way you can help for many years. Alternatively, you can start with something that you're already good at or something that you want to become good at. If you're passionate about building a skill and becoming the best at a certain thing, then this can also act as a very powerful driving force for you to learn and develop your services so you can serve your audience better for years and years and years. But in any case, you need to be conscious about what you're committing to help your audience with, because when you slap something together and make a bit of quick cash, it's really not that effective. And especially in 2025, when I'm recording this video, your brand matters, and it's only going to matter more in the future. So when you sell something that is simply designed to take your audience's money and leave them hanging after a couple of months, then they remember that and your reputation suffers, and that makes your business harder forever. You really don't want that. You can spend a little bit more time finding your thing, and that can make everything much easier, and more importantly, it can make sustaining your business long-term much easier. Finally, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, the last component. Your audience needs to have power, purchasing power. They need to be able to afford whatever you're selling. So this actually happens in two separate stages. The first stage is just by generally picking the audience. If you're talking to people who are homeless, unemployed, or children, you have a very hard time running a business like this. I would leave this for a charity that you organize once you have the business. But if you're talking to a group like that, you have a very hard time getting them to pay you any money because they don't have any money themselves. They need to take care of themselves first before they can invest in your services. So initially pick people who already have purchasing power, and that makes life 1,000 times easier. The amount of money people can pay you depends on their overall income. So if you're talking to people who have a higher overall income, you'll be able to solve bigger, better problems, and you're going to get paid better for that. But this is just the surface level of this, because with just a little bit of common sense, you will find an audience that has some money to spare. This is where the second part of this comes. When you take any field, it can be design, it can be dentistry, it can be growing tomatoes, doesn't matter. 80% of the people in that field are going to be beginners, and only 20%, and often less than 20%, are going to be experts. And when you're talking to your audience, you'll be able to attract more people when you're talking to beginners. For example, this is the exact purpose of this course. I'm attracting people who are just starting out and looking to make their first 1,000 bucks, and I'm building the relationship with you way before you can afford or need my services. What that means is that I have a long time of helping you out before you need to pay me anything, which makes buying from me a no-brainer later on. But this requires a lot of time. If you want to make money faster, or as a general rule of thumb, you want to invest some resources in that direction as well, you want to attract people who are experts as well, because experts have the disposable cash and income they can spend with you right now, immediately. Yes, finding and working with them is harder, but you need to find far fewer experts to make the exact same amount of money that you're going to make off of beginners. Because beginners usually have a lot of time to invest, but not that much money, while experts have a lot more money to invest, but not that much time. So if you target experts, and almost exclusively experts early on, you're going to have a much easier time making money, because you just need to find 1, 2, or 3 people, and you'll already be making some decent money every month. And with some services, you can hit 5 figures with just 1 or 2 clients. So go talk to your friends, go on social media and find a group of people that fits those 3 requirements, and find your audience filled with buyers. And if you missed the last video, you'll find the link for that below. And if you want the link to the next video, which is going to be about positioning, by the way, positioning will get the audience you just found to see and remember you, which is the first step to sales, and it's going to make one of the most useful videos in the series. So go down below, click the link, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.